What is up, guys? I'm so happy that you're here and that you chose to stop by and watch this video, and I hope that you continue to watch this video. And if you like what you see, make sure that you share and subscribe this video and keep watching. If you don't know me, my name is Heather. If you don't know me, my name is Heather, and in this if you don't know me, hi, my name is Heather. On this channel, we go over book content such as book reviews, do book giveaways, which we haven't done yet, but we are going to be doing one soon. Hint, hint. A little thing about me is that I just started reading back in June, and I instantly fell in love with reading and books, and so I have been hooked with it ever since. And so I really just wanted to create this channel to give you guys book recommendations and things that I really love about books and that I enjoy, or things that I don't enjoy, and my book reviews, and see if maybe you like that too. And if you do, and if you like book content and want to see more, make sure that you subscribe. In this video, we will be going over one of my most favorite book quotes and book tropes, which is the "Who Did This to You" book recommendations. Continue watching. Alright guys, I finished getting the books, and these are the ones that I have physically, and I also have some that are on my Audible or my Kindle, and I'll be going over those ones as well. But here's my physicals. A little overwhelming. Alright, coming in hot at number 1, you already know that I'm going to be saying this book, and it is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This one is definitely, in my opinion, a "Who Did This to You" Xaden. If you don't know anything about Fourth Wing, this is about Violet, who goes into a thing called the Writer's Quadrant, and basically you have to complete many obstacles and courses in order to finish the Writer's Quadrant. Along the line, she meets this guy named Xaden, who she absolutely hates at first, but I will give you no spoilers, but things may or may not change. Something happens to Violet, Xaden ends up coming in, he's like, you know, he basically says something along the lines like, "Who did this to you?" Again, it's my 6-star read. It was too good to rate a 5-star. And next up is another one in the Empyrean series, which is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. This is another "Who Did This to You" book recommendation, and just finished this book and I absolutely adored it. I thought it was fantastic. I actually, because this book is so overwhelmingly long, but it really isn't too long. However, I am a mom to a almost one-year-old, and so I need to listen to books because I feel like I just don't have the time on my hands to read a physical book all the time. So I did Audible, and I ended up loving this book even on Audible. Next up is one that you probably wouldn't suspect or even think about for being a "Who Did This to You" book recommendation, but my personal opinion, it is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This book, I feel like, definitely is, when it comes to Pip and Sal, I think this definitely is a "Who Did This to You" type of romance or even trope. And so it actually, the "Who Did This to You" kind of goes both ways, I guess, without giving spoilers. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder is about Pip, and you follow her as she solves a crime that happened in her town years and years ago, and she is doing it for a project at her school, and she ends up uncovering a bunch of hidden secrets and mysteries, and you just follow her along during that journey, and she meets my homeboy Sal, and it ends up being a really, really good book. This was one of my 5-star reads. Another one is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. This book was fantastic. I love this book. This actually was the first fantasy book that I ever read, and it took me by surprise. I really didn't think that I would like it. Ended up loving this book. This book features Feyre, and she was hunting in the woods one day, and she ended up killing a wolf, which actually ended up being Faye. And the Faye's best friend came crashing through her door, and he was like, "You killed my best friend," you know, stuff like that. And so he took her captive. One thing happened after the next, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to ruin it for you guys, but this was a fantastic book. But even better than this book, is a book that I don't have the physical copy of yet, but it is A Court of Mist and Fury. That book blew this book out of the water in my opinion, and it is because I love the character Rhysand much better than Tamlin, which I won't call him the name that other people call him because I just feel like that's really weird. A Court of Thorns and Roses is a Who Did This to You, and so is A Court of Mist and Fury. And I'm sure A Court of Wings and Ruin is also going to be a Who Did This to You, but I'm not sure yet because I haven't read it. Next up is a book that I just finished. Well, I finished it and then I just finished Legendary today. And it is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I don't know. I have no words for this book just because I really, really loved it. And it caught me by surprise because I feel like the beginning was kind of slow and I thought I was going to end up hating the book, but then I stuck with it and I ended up loving it. And just, there's so many details in these books just make it really beautiful. And so I am in the process, I just finished Legendary. I don't know if I already said it, but I just finished Legendary today. And I'm currently reading Finale. And I really enjoy it so far. I like that Caraval was from Scarlett's perspective and then, or telling, and then Legendary was from Donatella's perspective and telling. And then I love how Finale is from both of theirs so far. And I just really love that Stephanie Garber did that. I enjoy it a lot. But if you don't know what Caraval is about a girl named Scarlett and a girl named Donatella. And they're both sisters. And they end up getting a ticket to go to this Caraval, and it is about, I don't know, there's a guy named Legend, and he makes everyone who competes in Caraval do all of these tasks, and of the rules in Caraval is to remember that it's only a game. None of it is really true. You start to think that it is true, then you really start to lose the game. While you're reading it, you really do forget that it's just a game, and you get swept up into it, so I can understand why the characters do as well. I just threw the book on accident. My bad. Anyways, so in the Caraval series, there's a couple characters that say the and are portrayed in the Who Did This to You book recommendation and fit into that category really well. And then another book that I really don't think that you guys would think of in a Who Did This to You book recommendation, but is Recursion by Blake Crouch. Now, I haven't read Upgrade or Dark Matter yet because I heard that you could read them out of order, which is completely fine because this is the first one I picked up because it's really pretty. So if you don't know what Recursion is about, it is about a woman named Helen who goes throughout these different, she creates this chair where you can basically create a new reality, and there's like different time zones and alternate realities that you go through, and each one has a different effect. Things got out of hand with the chair, and she didn't intend for that, and so it started being used not for good but for evil, and people get injured and killed. Something ends up happening to her, and a guy comes to her rescue, and so I really suggest going and checking out this book. This book I have not yet read, but I hear that it is a phenomenal Who Did This to You book recommendation. And I saw a bunch of videos that were suggesting this book, and I own it, so I decided to put it in this video for you guys. I do intend on reading this book next. So also, can we hear some commotion for the cover? It's Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. This is so pretty, guys. Even when you take off the dust sleeve, it's really pretty like that. Oh my gosh, I love it. I don't know what it's about actually, so I will be checking that out. I just know that it is highly suggested and they made the cover look really pretty. If you have watched any of my videos, you know that I am a sucker for pretty covers. It's just who I am. Next up in my Who Did This to You book recommendation is The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. This is a phenomenal book. I'm sorry for saying it like that, but I really do love this book. It is basically like Hunger Games meets vampires, but also meets Vampire Diaries. I don't know. Basically, it really is like Hunger Games, but all of the players are vampires except for there's one human girl, and she's competing against all of these vampires, and whoever wins the game gets one wish, whatever they want, granted. And so There's a huge, massive twist at the end. Again, check out this book. I can't suggest it enough. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Coming up next is another book recommendation that actually took me a while to get into, but I am so happy that I stuck with it. I actually listened to this one on Audible, and can I just say that the people who were doing the reading on Audible did a phenomenal job. It was really good. But it is Belladonna by Adalyn Grace. This book follows a girl named Signa. When Signa was very young, she was at a party. I believe she was still a baby, and everyone around her was poisoned with a belladonna berry inside of their drink. And so she ended up around basically like a bunch of dead people. And she ends up going from home to home to home, and it seems like death follows her wherever she goes. And then death ends up becoming like an actual person, and there's a bunch of twists and turns. Huge twist at the end. I highly suggest this book. Okay guys, that is all for my Who Did This To You book recommendation video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, again, make sure to like, share, and subscribe this video. Suggest it to your friends. Reach out to people and say, hey, go check out that gal's video. It's pretty cool. So yeah guys, thanks for watching and stopping by. See you next time. Bye.